This is problem number 20 of the 2012 AP Calculus exam. Let f of x equal the quantity of 2x plus 1 cubed, and let g be the inverse function of f. Given that f of 0 is equal to 1, what is the value of the first derivative of g at x equals 1? Well, let's start with a table. I'm going to have x, I'm going to have f of x, I'm going to have the first derivative of f of x. I also want to have x and g of x, which is the inverse function of f of x, and I want g prime of x, or the first derivative of g of x. Using the table will make this problem much easier. Let's begin with the information that's given. F of 0 equals 1. So when x is 0, the y value, or f of 0, the y value at x equals 0, would be 1. Well, if g is the inverse of x, then the coordinates are reversed, and the x becomes 1, and the y value would become 0. Okay, so this would become g of 1 again, and that would be equal to 0. So now, let's look at what we're having on this right-hand side. To find f prime of x, the first derivative, what we're going to be looking at is, what is that derivative when x is 0? So let's begin with our function. F of x is equal to the quantity of 2x plus 1 cubed. So the first derivative of f of x, using the chain rule, would be 3 times 2x plus 1, and we subtract 1 from the exponent, so that would be squared, times the derivative of the inside, which is 2. Now we can simplify. The 2 times 3 gives me 6, times the quantity of 2x plus 1 squared. Now we're looking at what is the first derivative when x is 0. So that'll be 6 times the quantity of 2 times 0 plus 1 squared. And we know that 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1, and 1 squared is 1, and 6 times 1 is 6. So we find that the first derivative at 0 is 6. So this is going to be our answer in this in the next space. And what I need to realize is now that on this right-hand side, I'm going to be taking g prime of 1. And what we find is that when working with the inverses, that g prime of 1 is the reciprocal of the first derivative of f at 0. So all I've got to do is look at this term and write its reciprocal, and that will be the first derivative of g at 1. And so that gives us 1/6, and we're done. Our answer is letter D, 1/6.